After an even 14 minutes of play, the women's basketball team began pulling away from visiting Bethel University in the first round of the MIAC playoffs last Monday. Colleen Ruane scored 4 points and Molly Mathewitz dropped 6 points in the last few minutes of the first half, giving Gustavus a 9-point lead going into the locker room. All Gusties who got playing time in the first half scored for Gustavus, and that spread-out attack was a big reason they had the lead after 20 minutes of play. The Gusties kept Bethel in an arm's length for the first 15 minutes of the second half, thanks largely to Molly Mathewitz's 10-point second-half effort. But Bethel quickly closed the gap, tying the Gusties at 58 all, with Taylor Shelley leading the way for Bethel. Shelley led all scorers with 25 points. Molly Geske gave Gustavus a 4-point lead with this jumper, and from there Bethel had to foul to try and keep the game alive. The Gusties hit their free throws and iced the game, sending them to the MIAC semifinals. The women's basketball team ended at the MIAC semifinals when they faced St. Thomas and lost by a heartbreaking 2-point margin. With that loss, the women's basketball team finished their season with a record of 17 wins and 10 losses. After 23 minutes of play, it looked as though the Gusties' playoffs might end early, as visiting Augsburg was leading them 2-0. Augsburg first scored within the first 5 minutes of the puck being dropped, and Trevor Doughton gave the Augies a 2-goal lead 2.5 minutes into the second. Augsburg held that lead for 16 minutes, and right as it looked like the Gusties would go into the second intermission in a 2-goal deficit, Ryan Johnson redirected this shot from Mitch Carlson for the Gusties' first goal. Brad Wick scored just 20 seconds after Johnson, tying it up in the waning seconds of the period, making it a brand new hockey game. Defender Matt Schugel gave Gustavus its first lead of the night, scoring this goal just 1 minute into the third, but Augsburg tied it up soon after, and the game worked its way into overtime. Gustavus got 15 shots on goal in the overtime period, while Augsburg managed just 5. The first extra period wasn't enough, and you couldn't help but wonder if there might be a repeat of last year's quadruple overtime game between these two squads. Zach May put those thoughts to rest with this goal just 1 minute of the second overtime, allowing Gustavus to move on to the MIAC semifinals. Gustavus faced Hamlin the next night in the MIAC semifinals and lost to Hamlin 3-0. With the loss, their season ended with a final record of 15 wins, 10 losses, and 2 ties. The women's hockey team, also hosting Augsburg, found themselves locked in a tie after one period despite outshooting the Augies 12-1. That tie was broken just 30 seconds into the second as Amanda Cartoni netted a goal with assists going to Molly Carroll and Lindsay Helm. With 5 minutes remaining in the second period, Helm netted this goal of her own, and Melissa Doyle rounded out the second period of scoring just a couple minutes after Helm, giving Gustavus a 3-0 lead going into the third. Whitney Schaff scored this goal, putting the Gusties up 4-0, and Gustavus eventually skated away with a 6-0 victory. The two teams faced off again the next night, a game which ended in an 8-1 Gustavus victory. That victory clinched the MIAC regular season title for the Gusties, their incredible 7th straight regular season title. After invading Northfield last week and upsetting both St. Olaf and Carleton, Gustavus was looking for one more upset versus St. Thomas on Sunday. Seth Anderson continued his scoring rampage as he scored 8 of the Gusties' first 13 points. St. Thomas, however, had plenty of scorers of their own and jumped out to a quick 14-point lead just 10 minutes into the contest. The Gusties battled back to within 4 points thanks to Anderson and Phil Wirtz, as shown here getting the and one after being fouled on this shot. But the Tommies pulled away again, rebuilding that 14-point lead by the end of the half. St. Thomas retained that lead until 5 minutes remained in the game when something lit a fire under the Gusties. Wirtz, who finished with 23 points, and Anderson with 28, continued to light it up as Gustavus steadily closed the gap, and Dan Schmidtneck made it a 3-point game with just 1 minute remaining with his steal and layup. The Tommies got an offensive rebound on their next possession, forcing Gustavus to foul. From there they went to the line to ice the game, and Gustavus went down swinging against St. Thomas with a final of 83-77.